marijuana in New York City has been anything but a stone-cold success.
Yeah, the hard truth, there are only 11 legal shops in the city.
Police confiscated 2 mobile marijuana dispensaries operating illegally on different street corners in Astoria, Queens. New York City landlords are under pressure to get smoke shops off their properties. When illegal activity is discovered, like selling cannabis without a license, these landlords face fines.
Now, before we go any further, these unlicensed shops conveniently provide a product consumers want, but they can also present an array of issues. For example, those shops don't follow New York State packaging laws, and some of their products contain images that are widely familiar to kids.
Hey, you wanna get high, man?
That's how they do, they got wooden balls, man.
I got a joint here, man. I've been saving for a special occasion.
Is that a joint, man?
Talk it up, man. Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
Hey, man.
What?
What? Oh. Yeah, what's in this shit, man?
Mostly Maui Wowie, man.
Yeah?
But it's got some Labrador in it.
What's Labrador?
It's dog shit.
What?
Yeah, my dog ate my stash, man.
You mean we're smoking dog shit, man?
Take a look at these 2 illegally sold packages compared with the legal one. The illegal packages feature bright colors, cartoon characters, they mimic popular candy, and contain no specific testing or dosage information, all illegal under New York State law. The legal one contains clear testing information, muted colors, and specifies that it's grown in New York.
And then also a lot of the cannabis is not tested to the same standards of, a state regulatory program.
In fact, the New York Medical Cannabis Industry Association, a trade group that represents legal sellers, found high levels of pesticides in illicit marijuana, along with E. coli, salmonella, and heavy metal.
Carried out a raid on a Brooklyn smoke shop accused of illegally selling marijuana.
Well, it's a problem with hardly any solution. Unlicensed weed shops popping up all over the city.
But if these stores aren't licensed to do business, it begs the question, where are they getting their supply from?
What do you mean, what? Oh, shit! Wow! Wow, look at that! Oh, look, man, look! What is that?
It may be a new year, but an old problem has the attention of the New York City Sheriff's Department and other law enforcement agencies on this day as its war on illegal weed sales in New York City continues.
This is all flour.
Fox 5 was there exclusively as police took down Jackie's Garden, not quite hidden on the corner where the Jackie Robinson Parkway ends and converges with Bushwick, Jamaica, and Pennsylvania Avenues. Officers blitzed the Cypress Hills location with Sheriff Anthony Miranda overseeing the operation himself. Jackie's Garden was ready for visitors with trap compartments and hiding spots like this bookshelf.
So it's like a bookshelf?
Bookshelf, you wouldn't know. Opens up, it's magnetized, comes into another room.
Behind the bookshelf, a stash house.
And they got more product in here. You can come in.
Inside, pretty much a catalog of illegal weed, from the flower itself to products that shamelessly target underage consumers and even kids.
Backpack boys.
Not just through their packaging, but also the product itself. These, for instance, are miniature ice cream cones.
If a child ever found this, they wouldn't think twice about eating it. One of these can get someone significantly high. What it would do to a child could cripple them.
And that's if the child only eats one of them. Sheriff Miranda then showed us a night window where sales are made presumably during off hours when another stash house was found.
You found more back there?
In yet another room, in everyday laundry bags, bags and bags of weed, unlabeled. The sheriff explains what customers are actually buying when they're purchasing unregulated weed. And in addition to the drugs on the table, cash, cash, cash. By an early count, upwards of $100,000, $100,000.
This terrifying robbery inside a local dispensary.
Well, city police looking for a group of thieves, and we say that because you can clearly see one of them grab a container.
Would be seized at this location, a combination of weed products, and cash.
The question is, who's going to be doing the confiscating? The cops or the robbers? Because Now, that's the new trend. Sticking up weed spots.
Answers.
There are multiple sources of the unlicensed and illegal stuff that's coming into New York City.
As we take a closer look, much of the products omit their origins, but Sheriff Miranda knows where to look.
This doesn't even say where it's from, right?
Right, so you flip it on the QR code side and you can track it here. It should be able to give you information about where its origins are from.
Just about all of the products that we saw have QR codes, but many of the products Fox 5 scanned went to dead-end sites. Digging further, we ask who is supplying all this illegal weed into New York City.
The majority of the illegal weed coming into New York State is actually legally manufactured in other states.
Damian Fagan is with the state's Office of Cannabis Management, which says more than $57 million illegal cannabis was seized in New York last year, mostly coming from states that legalized but have seen their growing outpace heavily consumer demand.
California, Michigan, now Maine, there are a lot of growers that, just like our state, may not have, enough available access to legal stores in their own state.
From there, Fagan says it's economics that drives all of that product to us.
The price for a pound of legal cannabis has dropped from $1,500 to $200. When they only can sell their pound for $200 at a legal shop in Michigan, but $2,000 in New York State, that's the supply and demand that is, really bringing a lot of that product to New York.
Whether it's California, Maine, or Michigan, clearly illegal weed is coming into the New York City market. And the key question now is how to stop that flow at a time when it seems there are stores in just about every neighborhood in New York City. For the Office of Cannabis Management, the solution is in recent changes to the law that include how landlords are now held accountable for renting to tenants selling illegal weed. The first operation to be padlocked under the new law was in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn in December.
We are going to shut the property down. We are going to levy, up to $10,000 a day against these landlords for continuing to push illicit product into our communities.
And for the Sheriff's Department, its ask is for legislators to allow them to use the same law on their raids, a joint effort to root out and dry up commercial retail operations for illegal sellers. Arthur Chien, Fox 5 News.
Marijuana in New York City has been anything but a stone-cold success.
Yeah, the hard truth, there are only 11 legal shops in the city and an estimated 1,500 shops that are selling pot illegally. And now lawmakers hope a new proposed bill, if passed, will stop these unlicensed stores.
Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore live in Union Square with a story tonight. Crystal.
Well, Bill and Liz, if you do the math, for every one legal marijuana shop like the Union Square Travel Agency behind me, there are roughly 130 selling pot illegally. That's according to authorities. And lawmakers hope this new bill will weed them out.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
Police say a robber is off the streets this evening, all because of his colorful underwear. Authorities say Fathy Hussein was on probation for a weapons offense when in September he was part of a crew who robbed a tobacco shop in Queens at gunpoint.
This terrifying robbery inside a local dispensary. My goodness. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Abigail Ogle.
I'm Evan Onstock. KOCO's Colby Terrell talked to the manager at Big Buds today. He joins us here live now. Colby.
He threw the duct tape to my assistant manager. He shot the ground to let him know that he wasn't playing around. To make my assistant manager fearful for his life.
That duct tape meant for the employee of Big Bud's Cannabis Company to tie up his own legs during a robbery just after 8 last night. Along with the employee, a patient walked in while the robbery was in progress.
The guy hid behind the ATM as that patient was coming in. Then he grabbed her, held her at gunpoint, had her tape her legs together.
A marijuana dispensary shop in Silver Lake hit by a group of burglars. The owner says the suspects appeared to know exactly where to go and what to do. Eyewitness News reporter Ashley Mackey has the details.
Police are looking for a group of men who were caught on security cameras breaking into a dispensary in Silver Lake early Wednesday morning.
And they all just kind of filed in, and we just watched them, unload into 2 cars. like 6 guys just unloading into 2 cars full, and they drove off. Couldn't even close the trunk.
Police say the burglary took place around 12:30 a.m. You can see the suspects hopped over the fence from the alley behind the shop and were prepared with some kind of tool they used to break into the rear door. Toby says he got the notification from his security company, but arrived just minutes after the suspects got away.
It was pretty obviously they were told where everything was at. They could have even been on the phone with someone directing them around, it seemed.
Toby says since they opened in 2006, they've had several robberies, but this is the first one since 2014, and it's by far the biggest. He estimates the suspects stole about $500,000 worth of marijuana. $500,000 worth of marijuana and cannabis-related product. He's hoping insurance will be able.
Well, people who work in stores like this one are watching out for one another after yet another armed robbery. This one captured in frightening detail on camera.
4 armed men rushed into Green Lady Marijuana in Linwood as workers were preparing to close for the night Wednesday. The store provided security camera video to King 5.
It was really, really scary.
Assistant manager Monique Conrad had been on edge after worrying her store might get targeted next.
People know there's a large volume of cash here, and that's what gets us hit.
The suspects forced the workers to the ground and then into an office where they threatened to shoot them and tried to get them to open a safe, but the staff did not have access.
We pretty much just all need to cooperate and try to stay as calm as we could, and that we would hopefully stay alive, but there's been a lot of robberies and a lot of shootings in dispensaries in the last couple months.
Conrad says the suspects were able to get some money and eventually fled with about $6,000 of cash and $2,000 to $3,000 worth of products. She says Green Lady and other dispensaries are banding together and sharing updates to prepare any way they can for intruders.
This industry is such a community. We're all so supportive and so there for each other. And we're all super aware of the robberies and we all message each other. I've got friends at other shops that I talk to and I'm like, hey, we just got hit. You guys need to lock your doors. Please be safe. Anytime that we see one in the news, we put it in our work group chat so that people know to be on the lookout.
Investigators telling you.
Good evening. Well, according to the Sheriff's Department here in Pierce County, the similarities that they are seeing in all of these crimes may be an indicator that the same group of people could be behind them all. Last Saturday, the Green Lady Cannabis shop in West Olympia was the latest pot shop to be rammed and robbed.
Quite a few gentlemen had rammed a car twice into our building, proceeded to enter the building and steal several products. Although they only got about $300 worth of products, they caused thousands of dollars worth of damage.
In the past week, 4 pot shop robberies have occurred around Pierce County, including one in Tacoma that ended in gunfire being exchanged between the robbers and armed security. But Sergeant Darren Moss of the Pierce County Sheriff's Department says that the robberies all seem to have similar characteristics.
We've got 4 to 5 suspects who are using stolen vehicles to ram the front of businesses. We see these kind of things with armed robberies and ATM thefts. Similar incidents don't always mean the same suspects, but a lot of times it does.
Moss says that various law enforcement agencies will collaborate, comparing notes and sharing information in the hopes of finding those responsible.
Wyatt Earp opened a gambling house in Pioneer Square. The Wild West returns to Washington State.
He put the gun on my face and said, give me the money.
As cash-heavy pot shops turn into the OK Corral. These modern-day desperados, armed with handguns and assault rifles.
One guy took our shift lead and told him that he had 10 seconds to open the safe or he was going to kill him.
And they're not afraid to use them.
I got shot in the leg. I got shot through and through in the arm. I got shot through the abdomen.
Now, cops are trying to track down the pot shop bandits before someone ends up dead. And legal weed dealers who pay billions in taxes are asking why the government put them in a bind, then turned a blind eye.
If we could take credit cards, everything would change overnight.
Take a look at this map showing a rash of recent robberies stretching from Vancouver to Bellingham. More than 40 holdups since November, sometimes 2 or 3 in the same night.
These individuals were armed and incredibly aggressive.
Lacey police say the clerks at Forbidden Cannabis were terrorized by 3 gunmen who took over the store last month and ordered them on their knees, even putting a gun to the back of an employee's head and demanding he empty the till.
They feared for their life.
The suspects also stole thousands of dollars worth of product and took off in an older model red Ford Focus.
And we believe that these individuals involved in this specific crime have also targeted other businesses up and down the I-5 corridor.
And just last Sunday night in Pierce County, a suspect pistol whipped a woman working at the Pot Zone weed shop in Parkland.
I was standing outside and I first saw the one gentleman come up and then he pulled out the gun.
Nice guy, he calls him a gentleman. Crazy.
When I saw him knock down the customer, I was like, I was actually pleading with the guy, look, he's just a customer. He had nothing to do with this. Just ease up a little bit because he was standing on him.
Please don't hurt him. He's a customer. Please don't hurt him. He's a customer.
One guy took our shift lead in back to the safe and told him that he had 10 seconds to open the safe or he was going to kill him. And another guy went in and he was stealing stuff off the shelf, and it was all super fast. It was like 40 seconds in and out. It was super, super fast, but it's scary. The one guy was definitely in charge, the guy out by the door. He seemed to be like around 30-ish, a little bit older, where the other two were young. I mean, the one came in flip-flops and hopped over, lost his flip, and he seemed not to really know what he was doing. The guy was telling him, just grab that stuff, and the other guy, he told him to take Zach and back and get the money. For the first few days when people would come up around that corner, I was kind of like, ugh. But, things get normal again and everything goes back, but it's still real eerie there. I mean, every time I see somebody come around that corner, I get a shiver. I actually told my wife and my mom that I didn't have as much to do with it as I did, and then it was on the news for 3 days.
Chaos as 3 men rob a Lake City pot shop with guns drawn.
I got outed. My mom was mad at me that I had lied to her and wanted me to quit, and my wife was telling me that I needed to go find other work. And then they came to me with the driving job. Now I drive the van. I like it here, it's fun. People need to be held accountable for what they do. Things have gotten so lax with stuff lately, it's really scary out there.
You okay? Just before 11 p.m. on January 6th, when 2 armed men walked into Dockside Cannabis and Shoreline for a robbery.
One of the suspects will reach into the back pocket of one of the victims or one of the clerks while holding at gunpoint and taking his wallet.
But their planned holdup quickly went sideways when a store employee fought back and tried to grab onto the second suspect's gun.
During the scuffle, the victim falls, he gets kind of thrown to the side, and then you can see the other suspect and both suspects start shooting at the victim, hitting him multiple times.
As the 2 shooters leave the store with just a stolen wallet, the victim staggers into the back room while his co-workers dial 911.
Our officers quickly were able to provide life-saving measures to that victim by putting on tourniquets on his wounds, ultimately helping save his life in the long run.
Major crimes detectives are still working to...
And it's crazy. What makes people think they could just open up a weed spot? That's why there's a weed spot. They advertise it. You need a liquor license to sell liquor. Are you understanding me? Liquor is legal, but you need licenses. So why in the world make people think they could just open up a weed spot one day to another? You just a drug dealer because you got all these Arabic stores too. They selling weed now. Like, shit is weird. Like, and you gotta think, dudes that been hustling in the street ain't feeling this at all. And it's money in the bank robbing one of them spots, as you see.
Police need your help in finding 3 men they say robbed a smoke shop in Queens. It happened just after 1 in the afternoon on July 17th. Now, according to investigators, the men walked into the smoke shop on Cypress Avenue in the Ridgewood section, with one of them pointing a gun at the store clerk. Police say the 2 other men went behind the counter and took around $1,000 from the 27-year-old employee and $600 from the cash register. They then left the scene on bicycles. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-800.
Story in Lower Manhattan tonight. A store clerk slashed tonight during a robbery at a smoke shop. It happened at the Flower World Dispensary. This is on Nassau Street in the financial district. You can see cops both inside the store and on the street investigating what happened. They say a robber slashed the clerk on the arm before running off with a bunch of merchandise. The attacker on the run.
Yeah, man. So it's going down in the city, man, as you see. Not only in the city, everywhere, all over the United States. But it's really going down in the city. Look at this guy, Rico Suave. Imagine him coming to rob the spot. Look at Blue Boy. Shout out to Blue Boy. He got locked up. They came to rob the spot. He just armed the dude, shot him. Now he got 12 years. Crazy, man. But yeah, how they expect to just open up a weed spot? You know, you open up a weed spot, you can't sell liquor like that. What makes you think weed, you could just sell weed, but who's gonna do what they do? Shout out everybody, like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, peace, y'all.